Hello gamers, welcome back to Can Be Fixed, a place where we bring up suggestions on how to improve the quality of games. I am your host, True Turtle. This is the second part of how to improve Sons of the Forest, and today we are going to talk about the combat. Let's dive right in. Number 1. PvP settings improvements. Remember that I started working on this way before the release update was announced. So I'm actually kind of glad that they already started to add PvP or player versus player full damage options. But I would like to definitely see it more improved in comparison to how it was in the forest. For example, have an on-off option wherein creating a map that will have settings oriented towards the possibility of player-on-player conflict. Things like no name tags for all players or GPSs, traps that will work on other players or traps that work on everyone, building set in stone. What I mean by this is the players can't just mess with your placed building structures. They either have to knock them down or do something else. Alliance exchange, somehow being able to tell the game that this person is not an enemy no more, this person is a friend. Therefore, they could now show up on the map maybe, or they can now open your doors and mess with your structures and stuff like that. But you do what you think, M. Night. These are ideas. Number 2, fight mechanics from countables to players. This is like the ability to parry, knock down someone, break a block, poison effects, and so on. Whatever you can do to the countables, you should be able to do to other players, except for maybe cut down the body parts so quickly. Number 3, weapon-oriented playstyle and body part weakness to certain weapons. The game is already orienting itself to this area. I think it's a good idea to double down on this. For example, the club behaves differently than the modern axe or so. The club tends to be knocking the opponent and so on and so forth. This is a good idea. With the club as an example, we could say it's more of a bashing and knocking down oriented weapon, rather than the katana is more of a slashing and body part dismemberment weapon. Here's some suggestions. The golf club could be oriented to be an anti-escape weapon. Example, when hitting the legs of an enemy, and if the enemy tries to sprint away, they could do so less effectively or even have a chance of them tripping, like a couple seconds after hitting their legs and toes. Who knows? Or like the tactical axe. If you are striking at an enemy and you strike at the bottom of the leg, maybe it can do a hook animation that will trip the leg up, forcing them to fall and knocking them down. Number 4. Combos and weaknesses. Only because I had too much to say about this one and I wanted to get specific that I decided to skip this one and probably make a different video on it. But the basics is something like the game in For Honor, where you get first hit, second hit, then third hit. If you do it in a specific way, something special happens. Or if you start a specific way, then you open the way for other things to happen. Like example, if you start by a parry with the modern axe, then the next hit and the hit after that can knock the opponent down. That's what I mean by combos. And by weaknesses, I mean the failure to successfully do such a thing should open you up or lower your defense or lower your stamina more than normal. Something like that. Number 5, a dodge and dodge attack. Maybe just a dodge, but hear me out. The dodge doesn't have to be complicated. It can be a nice simple dodge. And how to work that out, you might not need another button to make the dodge happen. Maybe all you need to do is sprint and jump at the same time at the direction that you're trying to move to, or double tap the sprint or double tap the jump to make that dodge happen, or something, I don't know. But the idea is we need the ability to dodge some hits and the ability to kind of play it safe or recover if necessary. Number 6, again, with the intention of improving the combat as far as movement, I would say we could use a bayonet charge. This again could be tied with different weapons in the bayonet's good strengths and weaknesses. Definitely can work for the spear. It can work for the katana and other things too, but like a charge attack and repercussions if you miss, and good kudos if you make it. Bayonet charge would be really good in this game. Number 7, I actually feel like most players playing this game has at least crossed their head that this would be kind of cool. So number 7, the ability to hold 2 weapons at a time. This would be cool. Maybe look towards Skyrim for inspiration and to check checks and balances, have some of the weapons lose some of those nice unique abilities or do something, but 2 weapons, it would be very cool if we can do that. I definitely want to have 2 weapons when I go on a prepared attack against some cannibal camps or something. Number 8, more poisons and weapon upgrade options. Let's talk about weapon upgrades first. In the forest, we had the ability to add teeth, glass, add rags for fire damage, and rarely add poison, which we were all kind of hoping was a norm on all the weapons. But this should still be transferable in Sons of the Forest. I honestly feel like that's something they are working on. But hey, more upgrades on those weapons and definitely more poisons. Damage over time poison, unless you cleanse it somehow. Or a poison that will irritate and keep the enemy uncomfortable, such as like itching or something. A poison that can blind the enemy for a couple minutes or seconds or so. These are ideas that would be pretty nice to have in the game. That's it. That's the end of this video. This video was supposed to be a lot longer, but I just kept having a lot of technical issues and a lot of external issues. So we're just gonna end it here and pick up the ball later. You guys have a good one.